A large portion of the public can be considered uninformed, uninterested, or even undecided regarding the morality of hunting or killing for recreation. Pro-hunting parties are therefore pitted against anti-hunting groups in a fierce battle over public opinion and sympathy for their agendas and interests. This is because of the weight of public opinion will be an important factor in determining the future of trophy hunting, as enhanced public awareness about conservation issues inadvertently brings a lot of pressure to bear on decision-making bodies in conservation. Animal rights versus animal welfare. Firstly, let's look at animal welfare, which includes all animals, whether used for food, companionship, or sport. It is based on a principle of animal ownership and reflects a common sense approach that animals should be treated well and animal cruelty is wrong. Animal welfare standards and guidelines for animal use and management are based on a sound veterinary and animal husbandry experience, research, and practices. Animal rights extremists believe that there is no distinction between animals and humans. They view animal ownership of any kind as exploitation and slavery. The true goal of these groups is to work for legislation and regulations that ultimately remove animals from human care. In some instances, their agenda is pushed to a point where animals and humans will have the same rights under the law. Often their true goals are cloaked as cruel prevention. However, ultimately their view of cruelty is simple ownership. One of the main aims for both sides in the hunting debate is undoubtedly to win public support for their views. Anti-hunters condemn hunters for being cold-blooded immoral killers, brutish, bloodthirsty, arrogant, and selfish. Hunters have also been labelled inhumane, uncaring, irresponsible, unjust. These moral judgments stemmed largely from the skeptical assumptions surrounding hunters' motives and intentions, which have been hinted at by the generalized statements such as the following. Killing for fun, status, or profit is ethically unjustifiable and must be condemned by all responsible persons. Most common response by hunters when faced with criticism from the anti-hunting groups often takes form of the following. If you don't hunt, you don't know. Meaning in order to understand hunting, you need to be a hunter. Sustainable utilization of natural resources fast becoming the norm in developing African countries, while regulated hunting practices are able to provide a vital boost to local economies and wildlife populations as a whole, particularly in countries where the lack of infrastructure fetters potential income from tourism. By giving animals an economic value, regulated and sustainable hunting serves to make wildlife an attractive and economically viable resource to be protected, which may serve to cultivate cultural values in relation to wildlife as well. The media industry plays an important role of disseminating information and messages by transmitting symbolic forms. Social media is a perfect platform to peddle lies and misinformation by unscrupulous groups. According to an analysis by Craig Newmark, founder of Craigslist and Craig Connects, the top 5 animal welfare non-profits post more often and were more talked about in Facebook and Twitter than the top 5 non-profits for any other sector, including children, culture, disaster relief, environment, health, military, and women. Hunting advocates find themselves continually defining and redefining what hunting is about and what it means in their justifications and defense of hunting as an activity of moral worth. Hunting is not the discriminate shooting of mere killing of animals with a rifle or bow. Hunting is not prolonging the death of an animal. Humane Society in their one article regarding hunting says, "Quick kills are rare." It is such a shame that such misinformation is spewed out and guzzled down by those that have no experience or knowledge with regards to hunting. For anti-hunters, there is no such thing as ethical hunting. All hunting, by definition, involves killing and therefore unethical and immoral. Hunting has been with us since the beginning of time. Man is a natural hunter-gatherer. It connects you with nature, and it is a source of revenue. Hunters are still actively funding conservation programs that play a major role in wildlife conservation, such as the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the National Wild Turkey Federation's Ducks Unlimited, all of which help fund land to be purchased and set aside for wildlife habitat only. Approximately 12,000 years ago, all humans practiced hunting and gathering. Since the 1950s, research suggests that we have become more and more distant from nature and its life-giving benefits. Have we lost our identity? And what has caused this disconnection from nature? A local study shows technology change, and in particular the escalating of indoor virtual recreation options. Today, many sit locked up in their houses on social media, watching various groups that instead of spreading accurate information, spread falsehood. 95% of animal rights extremists have not spent any time outdoors. Their experience with nature is based on internet facts. Hunters, on the other hand, have spent hours, days, and months outdoors with nature, connecting deep within themselves and reflecting what it is like to be a hunter and gatherer. Statistics don't lie, though, and there is plenty of evidence that hunters do more than their share when it comes to the preservation of wildlife and wild places. When animal abuse is publicized, it causes widespread outrage. Horrific images or videos expose depicting animal cruelty, a long-time staple of animal rights activities, play to the sentiment and have proven to be excellent tools for inflaming passions, galvanizing public opinion, and raising oodles of money. Especially disturbing is how the most horrendous cruelty is allowed to continue for weeks and months on end, oftentimes encouraged by these so-called undercover activists, despite the fact that simply alerting an owner or an authority could have stopped this cruelty immediately. But it is important to remember that in the minds of those who view animal use as inherently wrong, regardless of how well animals are treated, the ends justify the means. Then campaigns are about advancing an extremist agenda and raising funds. If the most effective way of doing it is by misleading the public and smearing a farmer, a dog breeder, a scientist, or a hunter, then so be it. At the end of the day, not all anti-hunters are animal extremists, and when engaging, remember the following. Be courteous, not defensive. Oftentimes, individuals are not educated on how hunters are actually helping conserve wildlife and may just need to be told the facts. Provide details on how hunters help fund conservation. Sometimes individuals do not realize that hunters pay for wildlife conservation. Be respectful, non-confrontational, and come prepared with facts.